Hello and welcome to an Energy Connects discussion where we bring you the latest insights and innovation from the world of energy. Our discussion today comes ahead of the Global Energy Transition Congress and Exhibition in Milan in July, and I'm delighted to be joined by Andrew Purvis, Director, Sustainable Manufacturing at the World Steel Association. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
And to start off, could you tell us how the World Steel Association is leading the charge when it comes to decarbonizing the steel industry? And could you give us a brief overview about some of your programs in this regard, such as Step Up?
Yeah, certainly. Look, I think our role is fairly unique as a global association for the iron and steel industry. We have a role, I think, in a number of areas around decarbonization. One is communicating to the markets and to the community, the benefits of steel as a material. But at the same time, I think we have a role in helping our industry address some of the real challenges around abating emissions from our industry. For example, we have a number of focused member events where we bring together our members to exchange, particularly with the leaders, where we're looking at next generation technologies. We also run a number of outward facing events. So good examples of that would be our open forum, which will happen in June of this year, 2024. That's really focused on the policy, the enabling conditions, what needs to happen around our industry to make the transition possible. We also run a technology conference every other year, which more focuses on the real technology challenges and developments happening with our industry. Step Up, which you mentioned, is, I think, an important part of our offering to our members. It's an efficiency tool. If we're going to make iron and steel now, we have to make it as efficiently as we can. I think that's really on us. And Step Up is a tool that our members can use to understand the gaps between best in class and when they're operating. And that uses all of the data that we've collected from our members, our benchmarking systems. By using this tool and this process, members can understand where are the gaps and where are their opportunities for them to improve their current operations. Because while steel is making the transition possible, we've got a responsibility to make sure every ton of steel that we make is made as efficiently as it can be.
That's an excellent point. And as you said, while steel is making the transition possible. So as we go forward, what are the challenges and the opportunities that you see arising out of the decarbonization of hard-to-abate industries?
Look, I think for our industry, in some ways, the transition is a great opportunity for us. Steel is ubiquitous. Steel makes the modern world possible, and I think steel will make the transition possible. If you think of any of the tools, the hardware that we will need to transform society to something different, they're all steel intensive, whether it's renewable energy, generation, distribution, carbon capture and storage, hydrogen. All of these things will need a lot of steel to make them happen. And I think maybe in the past, our industry would stop talking there. But the reality is right now, for every ton of steel that's produced, we produce about 1.9 tons of CO2. And looking forward, that's not a sustainable growth plan for our industry. So we really need to address our own emissions, and that's hard. We've been using fossil carbon to reduce iron ore for hundreds of years, and we've got very good at it. We're doing it really efficiently, but everything is going to have to change. And I think that's the challenge that our industry faces. We continue to provide the material that is well suited to enable transformation, which is perfect for the circular economy, but without the emissions, which are problematic from an environmental perspective.
And one of the pathways of ensuring the circular economy is technology. So how critical do you think is the role of carbon capture and allied technologies in enabling the energy transition?
Our industry, I think, is a technology-driven industry. And as we go forward, we're a 2 billion ton industry. We are on all continents. We need to change an awful lot about what we do. And I honestly think we are going to need every tool we have in the toolbox to do that. And Carbon capture storage is one of those. So is hydrogen metallurgy. Efficiency. There are also a number of other new technologies which are in the development, maybe less mature, but over time, those will, I think, play an important role. Now, I think how each technology is deployed in different regions will vary very much, and that will depend on resources. For example, is there carbon storage available in a region? Some regions are well blessed with good storage. Others, it's not so clear. India is an example. Most steel is in the east of India. It's not clear exactly how the storage looks in that part of the world. Different technologies will play different roles in different regions. So I think there's no silver bullet in terms of technology. We're going to need absolutely everything. To what degree in different regions will vary, but we need to be ready.
I think an excellent observation there about, that we need every tool in the toolbox. And I think we'll get a fair glimpse of that toolbox at the Global Energy Transition Congress and Exhibition, which is just around the corner in July in Milan. What are your thoughts on this inaugural event, of which you are a big part?
I get invited to a lot of conferences. In fact, I could spend every day of my working week presenting or listening at conferences, and it's always great to learn a lot. I'm excited about GET. I'm really hopeful that when this was set up, there's a real focus on this not just purely being a talking shop, but something that leads to real action. If this conference, if this event can deliver that, I think that's something fairly unique. And I look at the scale of GET, it's really impressive. There's a lot of really interesting conversations going to be happening. Some really stakeholders, thought leaders are going to be there. I'm excited about it. The frustration is it's not going to be possible to go to everything. But I'm looking forward to playing my part. And I think if this really can lead to action, this is a huge, potentially can play a huge role.
That's an excellent point. And as you said, that there's been a whole host of low carbon commitments, but hopefully GET Congress will get us into that action mode, and we will see a lot more implementation than the commitments.
I hope so. And I hope that bringing together, governments, policymakers, industry, and hopefully consumers, that whole mix of, all the stakeholders, none of us can do this together. This is all about partnership across our industry, between industries, and up and down our value chain. So I hope that having everybody there and engaged in the same conversations, we'll be able to make some real progress. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Andrew, it was such a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you so much for your insights on the world of decarbonization and how the steel industry is a critical part of that.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all in Milan.
Before we go, a quick reminder that the Global Energy Transition Congress and Exhibition in Milan will bring together industry leaders, innovators, and experts to address the critical challenges and opportunities to decarbonize industry and accelerate the global energy transition. It takes place in Milan, Italy, and you can register at getcongress.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another Energy Connects discussion. Until then, goodbye.